turn this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, I want you to hear it, but I don't want it to be too loud. This, volume thing. This is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm. A moment of choice. Starting new. Now, some people make choices that aren't the best choices for them. Some people don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. They blame everyone else. It's always everyone else's fault. And when it's always everyone else's fault, it's never everyone else's fault. But, so sometimes people have problems with choice, and people don't like new things. People don't like surprises sometimes. So starting new can be scary for some folks. My he'll admit it, he don't like change. He likes things to be the same all the time. And that's because he had a childhood that was not very structured. It was just all over the place because his mom was, kind of a narcissistic sociopath, and she had bipolar, and she was all over the place. So that's how his childhood was, and that's not good for a child. A child needs structure and, security. They don't need to feel like their world's up in the air at any given moment. Some random weird-ass things can happen. So, keep that in mind, you folks who are raising children or grandchildren. There are times in our lives that lend themselves to starting something new. And everyone should be open to starting something new. Don't be scared of something new. So many people are just so scared to death of doing anything new. Oh no, couldn't do it. Yeah, you could. You just would have to want to and then do it. The beginning of a new year, and we've started our new year now, so a lot of people make resolutions, and if you got a resolution to do something new this year, keep it, do it, make yourself happy. Finishing school, and my middle son, he finished school a while back. He's got a MBA. He's working at businesses and things. But he now has a balance that's small enough to get him excited on what he owes on his school loans, because he's almost done paying them. So, I'm happy for him, and he needs to get them paid. Leaving a job, and sometimes you have to leave a job. Sometimes it's for your own health to leave a job. I've had jobs like that where it was just a completely toxic environment. And I'm a pretty strong, patient person. But even me, eventually there comes a line where just no, it's not worth it. To heck with this place, or as the 70s song goes, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. But, it can be stressful. Or changing homes. We're waiting to change homes. We outgrew this home probably about, 25 years ago. So, we're still waiting. These are all times that turn our minds to fresh starts. And fresh starts can be a good thing. I was divorced for 8 years. Well, we were apart longer than that, but total 8 years divorced. And so that was a fresh start for me. And I learned a lot of things about me, and I did a lot of things that I had wanted to do when I was younger and didn't get to do because I was busy being a wife and mother and things. So fresh starts can be a good thing for you. Their advantage is that they bring with them the energy of that event. And I made some nice friends out there in the community, and I still talk to a lot of those people today. So, when you go out and do things that you want to do, it can really enrich your life. Creating a tide of change around them that we can ride to our next shoreline. And I know I met a lot of women who, were there for me. They helped me and supported me, and let me know it's not the end of the world. You're gonna, you might have loved him. It might have been your, you thought you'd always be together and he would never do this or that, but stuff happens, and you can move on, have a life. and, survive. But we can choose to start anew anytime. And that's what a lot of people, have done in the past, where they just pick up stakes and go and do something new. A lot of us would be scared to death to do that. But I'm a big believer in opportunity knocks, you open the door. There was an opportunity years ago that, we had to move to one state and then to another state, and we didn't take those opportunities. And so, we got stuck here, and our life has not been all it should have been, in my opinion. But, that's when people hold themselves back. You can hold yourself back. And that's a saying in psychology, is that people are not afraid of failing, they're afraid of being successful. So sometimes that can be true. In any moment, we can decide that a bad day or a relationship that's gotten off on the wrong foot can be started again. And that's, I took a lot of flack, for remarrying my ex-husband. A lot of folks were like, no, you should never do this. But, the thing is, in our case, we always loved each other. We knew we loved each other. We just didn't know how to love each other. We didn't have the best examples growing up. And so when we were young, we didn't have to work at it. We had a great relationship. We had fun together. We hung out together. We were of like mind, and it was great. But when we got out into the world, other people started telling us how our relationship should be. He was getting advice. I was getting advice. And then we bring to the advice to the relationship. Well, so-and-so said, and that's not any way to have a relationship. You need to keep everybody else out of your relationship, and it'll be much better. It's between you and them, and what so-and-so said or so-and-so said, and men and some women also like to tell a lot of sexist jokes at work or whatever. Don't bring those home. Don't bring those home, because all that's going to do is cause trouble. So I was working at a psychology counseling center. My boss was lucky enough, I was lucky enough to have her as a friend as well. And she said, well, so what are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't really want him back because of he did this, that, and the other thing. And she said, but do you love him? And I had to admit that I did, but I was very unhappy with the things he'd done. So she said, okay, well, let's look at his, what was unacceptable in the relationship. And so I said this, that, and the other thing. And she said, okay, well then, if he wants to fix this, he can go do this. If he wants to fix that, he can go do that. And if you all want to mend the offenses and have a relationship, then you can go to couples counseling. So that's what I did. I told him, hey, if we want to start again, you're going to have to go to anger management. You're going to have to go to bipolar skills training, and we're going to go to couples counseling. If you're willing to do that, I'll be willing to give you another chance. And to my surprise, he did it. So... people can say what they want, but, if another person is willing to, right wrongs and improve the relationship, then you should probably give them a chance, in my opinion, because a whole lot of people aren't willing to do that. It is a mental shift that allows us to clean the slate and approach anything with fresh eyes, which, you can do. Like people say, take a step back. If you take a step back and think about things logically, usually everything is not that big a honking deal as, you made it out to be, especially if you're a person who has anxiety or depression, because that colors everything that's going on around you. And we can make that choice at any time. Again, there's no deadlines on choices, except for when there are, for like this is for a limited time, but in life, there's no life choices, that are going to have a deadline, as far as what you want to do with your life. Certainly, of course, there's like if you wanted to have kids, but you're 80 years old now, that's, of course, not going to happen. You might be able to adopt or not, because of your age. But, mostly what you choose to do with your life has no time limit, and you can make this choice. My first life coaching client was, 77 years old. So, and she said, I had never told anybody the things, excuse me, that happened to me. And then when because I started out, I had sold Avon, and so I started out trying to give my cards and flyers to the people that I sold Avon to that thought they might be interested. A lot of them talked to me like I was their, life coach anyway. So, and that's how, I got started on that. So, again, it's never too late until it's too late. Starting new is most powerful when we focus our attention to what we are choosing to create. And again, a lot of people choose to create chaos and drama in their life. A lot of people thrive on that. They grew up in a chaotic, drama-filled environment, and so when they come into their adult life and it's a little they can't deal with that. They need to make chaos and drama in their life in order to feel comfortable. And that's a personality disorder. But if you want to create a peaceful, calm life, then that's what you need to do, is take the steps necessary to do that. And any change you want to make in your life, you need to take the steps necessary to do that. Like I used to tell my students and my coaching clients, make an outline, and write down what you think you need to do first. And you're going to find there's, not only a 1, 2, 3, there's like a 1A, 1, and, 1A, 1A, A. So, anything you want to do, you need to take the steps necessary to make it happen. Excuse me. Giving all of our attention to the unwanted aspects of our lives allows what we resist to persist. And that's true. If you say you don't want chaos and drama in your life, then you need to not take steps that cause chaos and drama in your life. And you are well within your right to put up boundaries to people who bring that into your life and say, I don't want to do this anymore. You're causing drama in my life. You are upsetting my day. You're upsetting me. You're upsetting other people. Stop. And most people, think about that for a moment. If they're like, oh, and especially if you're not the first one to tell them that. If there's other people who've told them that, and yet they persist, then, there's a problem there. That's a pattern. We need to remember to leave enough room in the process of new beginnings to be kind to ourselves. And you are the most important person that you need to be kind to. There are religious beliefs that you come last, everybody else comes first, and things like that. But, I'm going to tell you, the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to take care of yourself first so that you have the ability to take care of other people. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to burn out, you're going to be depleted, and then you're not going to be any good to anyone else. Because it takes time to become accustomed to anything new, which it does. We all know that. Every stage in our life, from potty training to walking and everything else, anything new takes time to learn and become adept at. No matter how much we like it. And sometimes we don't like it, but sometimes we do like it. So again, take the steps that are necessary to bring what you want into your life. And if things are coming into your life that you don't want, take the steps necessary to set up some boundaries and say, no, I'm sorry. There is no need to get down on ourselves if we don't reach our new goals instantly. Because let's face the facts, you're not going to. No one's going to just drop something in your lap. I mean, that's super rare that ever happens. You're going to have to work hard and do the work that's necessary, take the steps that are necessary to get what you want. So, there's no easy way, and if there is an easy way, that's usually not an honest way. And, blessed are those who have stuff dropped in their lap, because rarely it happens. Instead, we acknowledge the forward motion and choose to rest and start again. Because let's face it, your first time trying to do something, I remember I wrote some poetry and I sent it off out of this magazine. I had Writer's Magazine coming. And this guy who looked at it, he acted like he was a school teacher. He like sent it back to me and had red pencil marked and things circled, language and things, and saying, well, it's not saleable as it is. You should change it to this, that, and the other thing. And I said, but this is the language that I'm putting it in because it's based on this culture, and and like, oh well, So I finally realized he's not anyone good, because one of the most famous writers that I read all the time uses a lot of euphemisms and a lot of speak of his particular area of the country. So sometimes you learn that the experts aren't really experts in what you're doing. That you're the expert in what you're doing, and you can emulate others who have done the same thing, and have the product that you want to put out there, not the product that someone thinks you should put out there. Because again, if it's something you're creating, then it should represent you. It should not represent this guy or that guy or so-and-so's company or whatever. Knowing that with each choice, we learn, grow, and move forward. And that's true. In order to do anything, you have to learn how to do it first, and then you have to grow it. When I ran Works of Heart Women's Ministry Outreach and Education for 17 years, I studied under a guy who was running a ministry, and then another 2 women who were running a ministry, and that's how I learned to do it. And then I found my stride, and then I grew it to the point where we were online internationally, we were serving the community, and I was getting paid, so that's important. So in order to move forward with anything you're gonna do, you have to take the steps necessary to do it. Making the choice to start anew has its own energy. It's a promise made to you, and that's the important thing, that you invest in you. You're taking the steps necessary to make your life the life you want it to be. So many people you hear, my life sucks, I hate this job, blah, blah. Okay, do something about it. And then people always, when I say that, say, well, I can't afford to quit my job. Okay. You are only at your job, hopefully, 8 hours a day. Sometimes longer. People work overtime. What do you do with your off time hours? If you have even an hour a day, because that's sometimes all I had, is an hour a day between like 4 and 5 before we start homework, an hour a day to work on what you want to do, then take that hour in a day and do it. I know people who work full-time jobs, who are writers, who are artists, who, act and model, and record songs and albums and stuff. They still have a day job, but they're still doing their thing, and they sell their arts and crafts and stuff at places. So that is going to enrich your life. If you're doing something that you want to do, that's going to enrich your life. And if you're not making money at it and you can't quit your day job, then don't. Take that hour in a day and still do that thing to enrich your life. Because sometimes we have to do things for money that don't necessarily make us happy. But we can do things that make us happy, even if they don't necessarily make us money. The forward momentum creates a sort of vacuum behind it, pulling toward you all you need to help you continue moving in your chosen direction. And I know y'all have heard about the law of attraction, but there's some to that. What you put out is going to come back. And I've noticed that. I was hearing a song about, Elton John, and I was thinking, man, I really miss listening to Elton John. Is really, great. He was on the radio when I was growing up, and his songs, meant something to me, and it was great. And then I finished my book a few weeks ago before the holidays, and the next book in my pile was his book, Me. So that my youngest son had given to me for, a birthday a long time ago, a few years ago. And I'm reading that. And then me and my husband were out at a thrift store after our dinner date. And lo and behold, there's CD. So, because I put that out there, I think that came back. And a lot of people say coincidence, and it could be. But I have found, whatever you pay attention to, whatever you put out there, comes back to you. So, you might want to put some positive vibes out there for yourself and take some necessary steps to make things happen. Once the journey has begun, it may take unexpected turns. And it will. Your life is going to take unexpected turns. Never think it won't. And that's why you need resilience. And some people say it can't be learned, but you can. You can learn to meditate. You can study Zen, and you learn to be more resilient as a person. But it never really ends, because your journey never does really end. Unless you believe there's nothing after you pass, which I don't believe. I believe we go on and go on to another plane of existence. Then, yeah, your journey never really ends. Like cycles in nature, there are periods of obvious growth and periods of dormancy that signal a time of waiting for the right moment to burst forth. And we all know that's true. There's times when our world is just hectic. One thing after another is happening, like, oh my gosh. And then a time where it seems like there's nothing happening. And you're just like waiting for the next stage of your life to happen. Each time we choose to start anew, we dedicate ourselves to becoming the best we are able to be. And that's kind of funny. It reminds me of something I saw, on the White House Christmas tree. It's like an ornament said, "Be best." And I'm like, well, okay. Broken English on an ornament, that's fine. But, you should dedicate yourself to being the best you can be. Because your life is only going to benefit from it. Your relationships are only going to benefit from it. And what you're doing is only going to benefit from it. So, if, you come to wanting to start something new in your life, there's always going to be a moment of choice. And you need to choose to take care of you, and enrich you, and to be the best you can be. Think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. That link is in my posts. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until next time.